Lost 10 in a row this season. That takes a lot out of you. They were left for dead. They got blasted by UAB not that long ago. They fought back to get themselves in this position where they beat FAU to get here. They beat SMU to get here. They really worked. They fought to get to where they're at, and I think this is a good moment for Adam Fisher and crew.
That about sums it up for Temple basketball. A wonderful run and a sad ending.
In Fort Worth, Texas, the site of the AAC tournament, and the men's team falling to UAB in the championship game. I'll tell you later in the show how the men got here on their magical run and what it means for the team moving forward.
I'm Sage Leone, live at Pearson and McGonigal. Later in the show, I will have details on the Temple Gymnastics floor team setting record on Senior Day. OwlSports Update is live and it starts right now.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of OwlSports Update. We have a loaded show today with recaps of both basketball teams along with lacrosse and a record for gymnastics.
We've got you for the next 30 minutes. He's Paddy Heckard, I'm Natalie Koranda, and it's time to start off with the end of 2 basketball seasons. The Owls basketball seasons are officially over, but the men went on longer than any of us expected. After 4 wins in 4 days, the Owls found themselves in the AAC title game despite being the 11th seed. Only UAB stood in their way when it came to earning that automatic bid into the NCAAs. Here is the AAC title game that took place in Fort Worth, Texas. And up until this point, the Owls won more games in this tournament than Temple had won in its AAC postseason history, but it was a rough one. After this three-pointer from UAB's Alejandro Vasquez, the gap really started to widen, and it was just the start. Temple is now already down by 10 in the first, but there was still much more game to play. Sam Hoffman snatched one of his rebounds, and Shane Dezzoni brings it back to Temple's side. He passes it to Hoffman, who gets it to Miller, and Miller sinks the three, and it's good. He also scored a career high of 32 points this game and 96 total during this tournament. But UAB's Eric Gaines responds by putting in 2 of his 15 as they continue to stretch the lead. Moving into the second, Temple trailing by 16, UAB quickly passes it around and gets it to Coleman, and he slams one in. And the last 25 seconds of the title game, Temple still behind by 16. Eric Gaines sinks another three-pointer to close this one out. UAB walks away with the title. The final score, 85-69, thus ending Temple's season. OwlSports Updates' Jake Gable was in Texas all week and wraps up our men's coverage courtside.
Thank you, guys. Yes, the men did fall in heartbreaking fashion to UAB. Their magical run comes to an end, but they did it all together. That was the theme of this entire run, the togetherness of this team. And do you need any proof more than this? Adam Fisher, in the post game, decided to bring his entire unit out onto the stage with him to talk about the game afterwards.
Really just proud of this group. We talk all the time about being Team 128, and everything we do, as you can see behind us, we do it together. And we win together, we lose together, but together is the key word. So,
this group is really special. We always kind of coming from different places. We got a couple guys who already been here for some time. Then we got some transfers coming in, a new coach, and we knew that the only way we'll be able to make a run in March was to come together. But early in the season, we kind of didn't click right away, and then we just had to keep grinding and keep coming in at the long days, long losing streaks, and just sticking with it. And then eventually, we finally found our rhythm and was able to win some games, and that's what I think makes this group so special.
While it came up short, Heiser Miller was a tournament sensation. He was named to the all-tournament team along with his teammate Steve Settle, and this team gave some magic and hope for fans of Temple. And looking at recruits in the future for high school from the transfer portal, this is now a much more attractive location. They came into this tournament as an 11 seed projected to do nothing. Now they're viewed as a team that made the championship game and was just minutes away from a bid into March Madness. Adam Fisher, in his second year, will probably have a lot more people wanting to join him on this run and the togetherness. Guys, it's back to you in the studio.
Thank you again to Jake Gable and Courts and Session producer Jacob Smedley for keeping us updated on the AAC tournament in Texas. Now we go to OwlSports Updates' Tamar Stubbs to tell us more about the men's journey through the tournament. Hey, Tamar.
Thanks, Paddy. It was an incredible run at the end of the season. The 4 wins in the first 4 days of the AAC tournament shocked just about everyone.
This Temple team has lost 9 straight 1-1 start to conference play.
Finishing the regular season as the 11th seed in a 14-team conference was not the game plan for Temple men's basketball.
The league after losing 10 straight.
Neither was a 10-game losing streak in January and February, but Coach Adam Fisher kept his team together. And when March rolled around, the issues of the past were now well in the past.
These guys did it, and that's why I'm so proud of them. We were, I thought, elite communicators today on the defensive end. Our activity was great. And again, our brand of perfect is playing together. We're not always doing the right stuff all the time. We mess up some assignments, but we do it hard. We do it together and we communicate, and that's our brand of basketball.
Playing 5 games in 5 days against UTSA, SMU, Charlotte, Florida Atlantic. Finally, with the trip to the NCAA tournament in the balance, Temple just never had an answer against UAB in the title game. Temple's junior guard, Heckard Miller, made history, scoring a tournament record 96 points.
Temple's do it all point guard into the body.
Just hoop. I mean, everybody just getting up and hooping and playing together, just trying to find ways to win. So, like, it really is no noise. It's just us, 1 game at a time, just trying to get the next win.
This tournament run gave the program and fans a glimmer of what is possible. 4 wins in 5 days down in Texas is not the way Temple wanted it to end, but it was a pretty strong end nonetheless.
They fought to get to where they're at, and I think this is a good moment for Adam Fisher and crew.
Temple had never been to the AAC title game. Getting there from the 11th seed is something very, very few might ever experience. From the studio set, I'm Tamar Stubbs. Back to you guys at the desk.
Before the men's tournament, the women faced off against 10-seed Rice in the AAC semifinals. In the first quarter, Temple leading by 2, Rice trying to find an open shot. They find Jazzy Owens-Barnett, who pulls up from mid-range and hits it. 2 of her 7 points this game. Moving on to the second, Rice with a 4-point lead. Aaliyah Nelson drives to the basket and gets the layup to fall. Nelson finished only 2 from 10 from the field. Less than a minute left, Rice ahead. Destiny Jackson makes it a 2-possession game with 20 seconds left. Last chance of the game for Temple. Tiara East heaves it from half court, but it's no good. Temple just falls short in the semis. Final score, 60-57.
It was an unfortunate end to a 20-win season. The Owls also passed the 17-win plateau for the first time since the 2016-2017 season. Some player stats, Tiara East and Aaliyah Nelson hit doubles in 23 and 21 games, and 9 players combined for 110 double-digit scoring totals this season. And again, the Owls ended the regular season as co-conference champs.
When Selection Sunday came around, there was one surprise for the Owls. Temple had the resume to play in the women's NIT, but they never heard their name. And head coach Diane Richardson wasn't terribly happy.
It was disappointing at the tournament, and we played really hard getting to this point, and then it was disappointing. I thought we had a great chance at winning the tournament, but we had a bad game. The reality of it is that we're not going to the postseason, which, even after the tournament, I was already trying to focus on what we needed to do for next year, and then not getting in the tournament is just accelerated what I need to do to get us ready for next year, and putting the plans together for next year, because I don't want to have that feeling again.
We have hit our first break of the show. Coming up, we have the latest for lacrosse and an AAC opener.
Plus, we'll take a look at gymnastics team's new record. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Lacrosse played Vanderbilt in an AAC opener over the weekend. Vanderbilt started strong. Brooke Baker with one of the team's 4 goals in the first. The action was on the Commodores side for most of the first as the Owls went scoreless in the entire period. Molly Krasitsky with one of her 3. In the second, it's Temple's chance to make a comeback. Belle Mastropietro puts the Owls on the board on a free position shot. Julia Schickling is now coming in hot, and she puts one in at the very end of the second. The Owls are now down by just 1, heading into the second half, 6-5. Now it was Vanderbilt's time to go scoreless. The Commodores didn't have any in the third and went into the fourth down 1 to Temple at 7-6. Julia Schickling helped keep the Owls ahead with 2 goals in the fourth. She and Mastropietro both recorded hat tricks. The Owls take the win 10-8.
The Owls are now 6-3 on the season, and they are now entering in the most important part of the spring, the bulk of conference play. OwlSports Updates' Miles Bailey takes a look.
The Temple lacrosse team is entering its most crucial stretch of the season. 5 of the Owls' last 6 games are against in-conference opponents. This stretch determines who makes the playoffs and their seeds.
We're just excited to get going and go after being at the top of our conference.
The top of the conference usually includes 2 nationally ranked opponents. This year, it's number 6th ranked James Madison, 13th ranked Florida. The Owls lost to both last year, but both games were close.
Coaching your 18th season here at Temple, head coach Bonnie Rosen is no stranger when it comes to the amount of elite competition that the team's about to face in this upcoming stretch of games.
Throughout all of her years of coaching the program, Rosen has always preached the same message to her team when entering the final and most important stretch of games.
I guess day in and day out, it's been on being present. Do today to the best of our ability, and do the moments in today to the best of our ability.
Conference play started last Saturday for the Owls with an important win over Vanderbilt by a score of 10-8. The Owls are often fighting with the Commodores for one of those playoff spots. And now, for the veterans like Mackenzie Roth and Belle Mastropietro, they know just how tough this stretch is officially underway.
There is definitely some added motivation, intensity, because the games mean more. For any senior that's on our team, there's like that sense of urgency just because it is our last year together and we want to go out on a high note.
Reporting from Haworth Field, I'm Miles Bailey, OwlSports Update.
Lacrosse has started conference play with a win, but there are still 5 conference games left before the postseason. Temple will finish out the month of March with games against East Carolina and Old Dominion, and will take on the current number 1 seed in the AAC, James Madison, at home on April 6th.
The gymnastics floor team recently made program history with a new school record. OwlSports Updates' Sage Leone is at Pearson McGonigal Hall to tell us more. Hey, Sage.
Thank you, guys. Senior Day was a special occasion for the Owls. They ended the meet by reworking parts of their record books, just in time to say goodbye to some of their best in program history. The Temple Gymnastics floor team set a school record, and it came at the best time, on March 10th in a quad meet during Senior Day. Seniors Renee Shugman and Brooke Donabedian were a part of this record day, both scoring season bests of 9.9 or higher.
It feels really good. It was honestly really fun, and I think being that it was our senior meet, that made it even more special. But that floor team, I knew that we could do it.
Setting school records is not new for the gymnastics team. First-year head coach Hillary Steele has helped our team enter the record books tremendously this season, along with helping many of her athletes set personal highs.
I know it comes down to what they do in the gym for these like career highs and stuff, but just really getting to know them as people and understanding them and trying to help them in and out of the gym, I think results in the good things happening in the gym.
Senior Brooke Donabedian scored a 9.925 on her senior night. This marks Brooke's 15th 9.9 range score, the highest in program history.
Obviously, we all know what our capabilities were on floor. I think it was a really strong floor team that we have this season.
The Owls will be back on the floor along with all of the other events in the conference championships in Towson, Maryland, starting Saturday, March 23rd. The Owls finished 5th last year in the EAGL championships, but they'll look to improve their scores this year. Reporting from Pearson and McGonigal, I'm Sage Leone, OwlSports Update. Paddy and Natalie, back to you guys on the desk.
Thanks, Sage. Right after setting this record, the team traveled to New Hampshire for a quad meet to close out the regular season. Speaking of records, the Bars squad scored a season high of 49.175, which is tied for the 4th highest tally in school history. Donna Bedian also earned her 4th win of the season on the beam with a career high. Next up, the Owls will go to the EAGL Championships at Towson this weekend. We are at another break, but don't go anywhere. On the other side, we will look at how the field hockey team is kicking off the spring season.
Spring football is back at 10th and Diamond, and a new edition of Who's on Our Radar. All this in 90 seconds. Welcome back. Temple field hockey's spring schedule is now well underway. OwlSports Updates' Kayla Vine has more on the team and its international influence.
Temple field hockey has players not only from the U.S., but all around the world. 7 of the 27 players are international student athletes from as far away as Europe and South America. Tess Muller and Mirta Schoenberg both came to Temple from the Netherlands.
Temple was great from the start, and I had a great connection with the coaches, and that was, I think, one of the biggest reasons that I decided to play.
They have an interest in coming to America and to being part of our American academic Division I kind of institutional system where it's really professional.
On Sunday, the Owls played Delaware in their first scrimmage of the off-season. This is a chance for the international players to continue to get to play with one another without the high stress they find in the season during the fall.
It's honestly like I feel like I've been living my dream here. Every year we've been getting better, and every year the girls are really nice. Everyone is very gritty. The energy is good, and it kind of feels like I have a second family from home.
The Owls are looking forward to welcoming 3 new Dutch players to the team this fall. Following an 11-8 season, Temple is looking to improve its standings in 2024 with a little help from new players who traveled overseas to get here. Reporting from Howarth Field, I'm Kayla Levine, OwlSports Update.
While the season doesn't start until the fall, Temple field hockey has plenty of action in the meantime. The team has 3 more games and 1 tournament left on its spring scrimmage schedule. Temple will face Monmouth away on March 30th and will take part in a City 6 tournament at Villanova on April 7th.
Temple football is on our radar this week, and I think it's safe to ask, who will be the starting QB?
3 upperclassmen quarterbacks could compete for the starting job this year, so let's start with the QB that Coach Drayton says has the advantage so far, and that's Forrest Brock. Forrest Brock has the most experience with Temple. He transferred in May of last year. He played in a game at Temple. He played against SMU. It was a 55-0 loss. However, he does have experience playing in this system, so it'll be interesting to see how he fares come season.
Redshirt junior Evan Simon was the backup QB for Rutgers in 2022, and in 2023 he played a reduced role with only 3 passing attempts all year. He does come from the Big Ten Conference and has seen some difficult competition against teams like Iowa, Ohio State, Penn State, so I guess we will just have to wait and see how that fares in this QB battle.
And for our final QB, we're going to be talking about Clifton McDowell. He was a starter last year at FCS Team Montana. While the FCS are considered a lower division of Division I football, he made it all the way to the FCS championship, but fell short to powerhouse South Dakota State. He has 2,000 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, also 753 rushing yards and 9 rushing touchdowns last year. He played on a very rush-heavy offense with Montana last season, so it'll be interesting to see how he transitions into this passing-heavy offense that we saw from Temple last year. And we're going to be at our last break, but don't go anywhere.
When we return, a little behind the scenes, we have a special look at what our crew does each week to get ready for show day. See you in 90 seconds. Welcome back. You all see what happens on our side of the desk each week at OwlSports Update, but there is so much more that happens on the other side. There are many individuals who we get to proudly represent each week, but our producers are the ones that make all of this happen.
Starts right now. Roll A, take A.
Classes get you degrees, OwlSports gets you a job.
OSU. That's OwlSports Update, one of Temple's national award-winning productions. Every Tuesday and Thursday during the school year, OwlSports Update runs live shows at noon on Temple's own TV station, TUTV. The goal is to cover Temple's 19 varsity teams. Some take this for class credit, and there are volunteers too. But no matter the role, the goal is to gain experience working in live television.
In the studio.
Miriam Akraz and Michael Becker started as volunteers, but worked their way up to be producers.
This is a very professional, we're award winners. It's kind of, you're coming in here, it's like you're working at a television station.
And they run a tight ship.
21, same thing. Next gonna start. You're not in here just for like kind of fun. These are strict things that we follow.
That includes deadlines for all show elements. And this can be a lot for the newcomers who are just learning the expectations of live news production, whether it's in front of the camera or in the control room.
5. I think we're all here with different goals and dreams of what we want to do.
And teamwork really does make the dream work.
We're kind of a team together. Whoever is strong at something kind of builds on their strength by helping others.
Crafting a show to keep viewers engaged and informed is the most important part, and it takes many hours for the staff to get it right.
My co-producer and I have the responsibility of stacking the show, so we put things together.
How much time do we need to build in for this video, for this element?
What do we have first? What do we have second? What is important? What is not?
Once we have it to 28 minutes and 30 seconds, we know we're good to go.
Once the show rundown is complete, it's all hands on deck. Class members and volunteers write scripts and edit final touches in the days prior to the show. The anchors and producers meet the night before to finalize everything.
1, 2, 3,
The true magic of the show happens off the desk and inside 3 separate rooms. The control room where the directors/producers make all the calls, the other control room where teleprompter, graphics, and server are, and the studio set where anchors like myself are the faces of all of our team's hard work.
Not every show is perfect, but every show is professional. That's what makes live production so exciting for the 40 or so students who make up OwlSports Update. It's where classwork meets the professional field.
Hello and welcome to a new edition of OwlSports Update.
The leadership we have at OwlSports Update is unmatched, and none of this would be possible without our executive producer, Matt Fine. Thanks to him, we all continue to learn and grow with each show. That's why we have the hashtag #TrustTheFine.
Basketball season may be over, but there's still plenty of competition for the rest of Temple athletics. On Friday, women's tennis will take on Penn. On Saturday, it's a packed day. Lacrosse is on the road, fencing begins its NCAA championship competition, while gymnastics competes in the EAGL Conference Championship. And on Sunday, women's tennis faces William and Mary, while fencing closes out the NCAA championships.
You can catch the recap of those weekend matchups on Monday in the Sports Brief, which will be on our socials at OwlSports Update. Courts in session has concluded for the semester, so 1 week from today, Michael Merville and Meg Doyle will return to the desk for our flagship show. But that's all the time we have for this edition of OwlSports Update.
This crew has 2 more shows remaining for the semester, and you won't want to miss them. Thank you to our producers, Kylie Haberstroh and Logan Matthews, for putting together a great show together.
And on behalf of our entire crew, I'm Natalie Koranda, he's Paddy Heckard. Thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.